In this age of artificial intelligence, we find ourselves on this massive quest. But we're not just looking for more intelligence or, faster processing power. We're searching for something way deeper, something timeless. We're searching for wisdom. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
AI, it offers these incredible, almost mind-boggling possibilities for our future. But at the exact same time, it brings up these really profound, ethical, even existential questions. Are the amazing tools we're building going to reflect our best ideals? Or will they just end up making our flaws even bigger?
So, this brings us right to the core question of our whole exploration today. As we're literally designing this new world, are we making sure to bake in the kind of deep, humane wisdom that will make sure it serves everybody?
To find that wisdom, we've got to look beyond just a single story. Western modernity, with its focus on science and individual freedom, has given us amazing breakthroughs. But that also came with a cost, right? It often led to fragmented communities and, frankly, damage to the natural world in the name of individual progress. Because of that history, the way we usually think about AI ethics has mostly been seen through one specific lens. And a big weakness there is that technology tends to sprint ahead, while our moral compass is left scrambling to catch up. So this really tells us we need to look somewhere else. What happens when we broaden our search for wisdom? So our little global tour is going to start with that very worldview. Western philosophy, from the Enlightenment all the way to today, really puts human reason, individual rights, and a sense of mastery over the world front and center. And this tradition gives us some really powerful tools for AI ethics. A rights-first approach, for example, is the foundation for things we take for granted now, like digital consent and data privacy. And at the same time, its focus on analytical thinking is what lets us build transparent, accountable AI systems. The kind where we can actually understand and maybe even challenge their decisions. But if Western philosophy often zooms in on the individual, other traditions start with the group. Eastern philosophies, for instance, offer a totally different point of view, one that prioritizes social harmony, the well-being of the whole community, and a deep, deep connection with nature. And this is just a fundamentally different way of looking at the world, isn't it? Instead of seeing AI as just a tool to be controlled, it's viewed more like a partner inside a much larger network. So the main contribution here is this holistic lens, pushing us to see AI not just by itself, but as a piece of an interconnected system. This totally reframes the goal from just being efficient to achieving overall harmony and well-being. Let's keep our journey going. Next, we arrive at Indigenous worldviews. Now, these philosophies are just so deeply grounded in kinship, this idea of an unbreakable bond between people, the land, animals, and our ancestors. This worldview gives us this incredibly profound concept of future stewardship, and it comes from a deep understanding that we are in a relationship with all living things. The seven-generation principle is such a powerful example of this. It's not just some nice guideline, it's an ethical command. It demands that any big technological decision has to be weighed against how it will impact our descendants 7 generations from now. That forces a radical shift away from short-term wins toward long-term responsibility. Next up, we're going to explore the African philosophy of Ubuntu. Its whole ethical framework is built around our profound interconnectedness and the solidarity that comes from our shared humanity. The entire idea is captured in that beautiful phrase, I am because we are. What that means is that being a person isn't some individual achievement. It's something that's forged within a community. So when you apply that to AI, Ubuntu forces us to ask totally different questions. Does this algorithm make our social bonds stronger? Does this system put the well-being of the most vulnerable people first? Success isn't measured by profit, but by how much we all flourish together. Our tour is going to wrap up with Islamic philosophy, which offers a framework that's really rooted in justice, compassion, and the moral duty to protect core human values. So, this perspective gives us a really solid framework for governing AI. The concept of adl, which means justice, requires that AI systems are built to be fair and equitable, and to actively fight against bias. And on top of that, it introduces the idea of stewardship, where developers aren't just creators, they're trustees. They're responsible for making sure their tech doesn't cause harm and that it actually serves the public good. Okay, so after this journey through such different ways of seeing the world, the huge question is, can we actually find any common ground here? And you know what? The answer is a huge, resounding yes. even with their different origins, these traditions have this incredible convergence. Core principles like human dignity, justice, community, and stewardship, they just pop up again and again. They are the common ethical threads that weave through all of our global cultures. So what this tells us is that even though we have different starting points, we share this deep, common desire for technology that actually serves all of us. We want AI that respects our dignity, helps create a more just world, and acts like a responsible caretaker of our planet. And this discovery, this common thread, well, it brings us right to our destination, a new integrated model for guiding AI ethics that we're calling wired wisdom. This model is where it all comes together. Look at the very core. You've got those shared values we just found: human dignity, justice, community, and stewardship. And then, branching out from that core, you see 5 petals, and each one represents one of the philosophies we just explored. So this way, the whole framework is anchored in what we all share, but it's also made richer by the unique strengths of each tradition. So what is wired wisdom, really? Well, it's a balanced ethical system. It's not about picking one philosophy over another. It's about blending their strengths to create something much more complete, a system that honors both our personal integrity and our collective well-being.
And this is why it matters so much. The simple truth is that no single culture has all the answers, right? No one has a monopoly on wisdom. By creating this synergy, we can build a more holistic, more sustainable, ethical foundation for AI, one that makes sure our technology is truly deeply rooted in our most important shared values.
And this approach lets us imagine a truly harmonious future with AI, one where our tech is guided not just by the narrow interests of a few people, but by our collective conscience.
At the end of the day, this age of AI demands more than just innovation. It demands wisdom. By bringing together all these diverse global perspectives, we can make sure that AI stays our partner, not our rival, a partner that's dedicated to helping all of humanity flourish together. And this leaves us with one final crucial question. It's a question for all of us, as creators, as users, as citizens. How will we, together, make sure that the technology we build reflects the very best of our shared humanity?